greatest podcast in the history of mankind, Greg Eaton. What do you think, man? I'm happy to be back. It's March Madness. What do you think?
It's been a phenomenal week of games, Coach. I mean, for not having any games last year, it definitely made up with how good the games were this year.
And a lot of exciting games, a lot of cool things happening, and a lot of upsets. And we've got some Cinderellas. Coach, if you had to pick a Final Four today out of these Sweet 16 teams, who are you picking?
Oh, man, I think it's tough to pick against Gonzaga. I mean, I think that they've just looked so good. I really like Loyola's. I mean, it's crazy to pick a Cinderella twice in 4 years, but I like their path. I think that it's really attainable for them to get back there. I know a lot of people really like, Baylor a lot. I think Villanova is going to beat them, and I think Villanova is going to make it again. I think Jay Wright. I think I saw a stat. Every time Jay Wright's made a Sweet 16, he's made the Final Four in his last several appearances. Yeah. So they're going to be ready to go against Baylor. And then I think down below, we'll talk about them later here, but I like Alabama, and I think it'll be Alabama versus UCLA in that Elite Eight game.
Yeah, that'll be a heck of a game. How about Elite Eight? Pac-12 outperforming standards. So we have to bring it up. The Big Ten stunk.
Yeah, not a good showing.
And I just wonder, being bottled up that long in Indy maybe, or is a 20-game league schedule that demanding that you get more teams in, but it's hard to perform once you get there? Because even a week can help you. You know what I mean? A week of breathers, so to speak. But I don't know. It's hard to tell over the course of a long period, or maybe it's just the way it is. But 21 years in a row now, we have not had a Big Ten team win a championship. Michigan is left, of course. But if you ask me, without Isaiah Livers, I think that they're going to get beat. I don't see them making a championship run.
I agree with you. And to your point, I do think that they beat each other up. And I mean, having been in the Big Ten for 7 years, the coaches talk, and you just beat on each other all the time. And you get – and I hate to say it, you get away with a lot of fouls that you don't get away with in the NCAA tournament. Hence
the Syracuse effect. You just stand in that zone and get you to panic. And boy, that's been great for Jim Boeheim as a high seed to make a nice run in the tournament. Now, when he was a high seed, a low seed, when he was out there as a 2 seed, he'd get beat all the time. And they said that, but I was only about 12 years old when that used to happen. So I can't even, I am old and I can't even answer to it. So that's just the way it goes. So tell me this, Coach, we're going to do a little something different. Not really a podcast this week. We're going to have to watch video. So we're going to have it on Twitter. I'm sure it'll be somewhere on YouTube. But we're going to take 4 teams and just talk about schematic stuff. So we're going to put our style aside, all of our high comedy and our great questions, and we're going to show some substance, and we're going to talk hoops on what's going on with things. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Coach, you've got 2 teams, and I've got 2 teams. All right. Yep. I've got Oral Roberts, and I've got Loyola of Chicago. And the 2 teams you have are
USC and Alabama.
USC and Alabama. So let's start with one of your 2 first.
Okay.
And just kind of go and talk about what you think. Why is this team so successful and what's going on?
I think since I'll kick off, we just go in order of the bracket.
First of all,
it's this way.
Okay. First of all, basketball tips off, football kicks off. Okay. Let's get that right. Don't be screwing around with that.
I know. I you know me, I'm a soccer player. So
yes, you are at heart.
It's the kickoff deal.
Well, you have no ACL. Keep going.
2 of them.
Oh,
2 of them. Right. Well, I will. I'll go ahead and kick it off with USC.
Tip it off, Coach. You got to tip it off.
Tip it off with USC. So, everything for USC. Obviously, they had a great win last week. A really well coached team. We got to play Florida Gulf Coast right after Enfield left for USC.
Sure.
Everything revolves around the Mobley brothers. They averaged 26 points a game combined, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists a game.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Pretty good hire to hire dad, right? Dad's on the staff.
Yes. It was decent move.
Yeah, but dad was a good coach, and mom was a good player too, or a good coach. One of the two.
Yep. Good player. She was a good player. The other pieces to them, and we'll talk about it in just a second, but their point guard, Edie, 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which in today's game is phenomenal. That's a very good thing to have. And then they're getting 20 points a game from their bench.
Wow.
Which
pretty
is
good.
A lot of scoring. I mean, when you're scoring 75 points and you're getting 20 of that, that's pretty good. So, like I said, everything revolves around them. We're going to watch some clips on just how much of an impact that the brothers have and how the defenses are just so focused on trying to slow those two down that it just frees up everybody else. So the first clips that I got right here are going to be just some transition, which they're phenomenal. They play really fast. They're trying to do a lot of drags. And right here, coach, you talk about high IQ bigs. So instead of rolling straight down, he's going to hold the roll so the big can't help. And this is a really good stop and go by Edie right there.
Oh, yeah.
When you have two bigs that are so smart, I mean, it really helps to free up the floor here. So again, right there, a little late, the big can't come over. Good finish right there. And then right here, you can see him the whole time he's running down the floor. He's kind of running to a wing at first, trying to figure out if he can set up a drag screen. But as soon as this big for Drake eyes the point guard, now he's rim running.
Yeah, and he made great eye contact early on that to send a message to the guard.
Yes. So they are also the tallest team in the country. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did not know that.
They are average player 6'8". So I think that's taller than all of our players at Colorado State in 11,
yeah.
12.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So, so now we're going to go into some post touches and how strong that they post up. And again, collapsing the defense, but they also space the floor really, really well. So good, strong move right there. You work on that every single day in individual instruction. Strong post up. And their guards do such a good job. We'll show a couple Laker cuts here in a second, but they do a good job of either Laker cutting through or they're going to interchange here. So it's taking up the defender. They have to make a decision on what they're doing.
And folks, when we say Laker cut, we're talking Magic Johnson to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, cut right off the top of him, not anything after that. We're talking about the old school Laker cut.
Way back before I was born.
Yeah, they get great. You know, we always talk about getting a piece of the paint on a post up. So if you rewind this clip a little bit, in the original post up, you'll see. So we get fronted and we put the ball back on top. Here we go. Slip, and he gets fronted. Now with him on top, now he gets the post, and he's got that foot in the paint. His right foot, his left foot was right on the lane line. But whenever you can catch a piece of the paint as a post-up guy, that's an absolute – you've got to throw it inside. You've got to throw that inside. And that top down from right there is impossible to stop. That's one that – you know, Tony Bennett and their post defense, one of their rules is you never let the ball be fed straight in from the top down like that, because you can't get to your double. You can't get to anything. If you do, you're doubling straight across. You can see the rebounding edge for the opposing team is right there too. Great post feed.
And they're so disciplined. Their guards know that's what their offense centers around. And I mean, they only make 6.5 threes a game. With how the game has evolved, I mean, 6.5 is not a lot, but they average 22 free throw attempts a game. Yeah, and that's punching the ball in. But every single time, I mean, they're posting up hard multiple times. Now we're going to show a couple Laker cuts. So obviously the guards, they reverse the ball, they screen away. This is what we're talking about, everyone. When we say Laker cut, they're going to cut down the lane line, and now it just leaves this side empty. So, you know, we would do it. When we were scouting teams, a lot of times we would come double right there. Right there,
yeah. Because that low guy who's Brown, Christian Brown here for Kansas at the charge circle, he can pick up two guys from there, and Garrett can rotate out if there's a huge skip, especially when you've got two bigger bodies with Lightfoot being the doubler here.
Yes. but he cuts through, and his eyes are up the whole time, which, I mean, again, for bigs to be averaging 4 assists a game is impressive. And I mean, the whole time he's cutting off, you can just see he's waiting for the double, and he sees it's not there, so he goes to work.
Yeah, it's hard to let a guy just dribble around 5-6 times and think you're going to stop him.
Yes. And here, this is from the top down, but just cut straight off the post feed. And then in transition, I mean, the bigs just know what they're looking for right off the bat. So they're looking to post feed, they're looking for transition. They just do such a good job of spacing the floor and knowing where to get to their spots. Queued up, ready to shoot. Everybody gets so wrapped up in trying to take away that post. And right here, we're going to see a little Jayhawk action, cross screen, down screen. And again, they get a little lost on this action right here, Drake does take away the big. He over helps.
Yeah, that's tough to stop, especially with the big zoning up down there.
Great hands. You always talk about recruiting guys that come up with the ball, and you throw the ball up, make the big try to figure out what he's going to do, and he's just a little too late.
Yeah. Evan Mobley should have been, I mean, I don't know where he is in Naismith Player of the Year, but holy cow. You know, like I say, I think Garza's going to win only because Garza's, you know, I think you're not looking at a season with Garza. You're looking at like his total work and how good he's been for so long that it's hard to pass on him, because coming into the year, he was a wide favorite and he had a good year. You know, I mean, he had a good year. So it's just one of those things that way. Good stuff, Coach. I like that. You love that post play. Teams that still play through the post, it anchors your offense, really gives you a different look, and I think helps your spacing, helps everything. And the guy that still gets fouled the most in college basketball is a guy with his back to the basket with the ball posting up. You know, there is no doubt about those things that they add up. So so I'm going to show you Oral Roberts, and the question is, can you or can you not go to the Sweet 16 running one play? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. So we're going to just show you basically how Ace Smith and Obenar, the center and the point guard that combined for about 44, 45 points a game for Oral Roberts, just play a lot of pick and pop, pick and roll, pick and rescreen, just the whole thing, right? A little get action in there too, and how they do some things. And some of this is going to be to a show that how they get you spread out and behind, because you're so worried about their 3-point shooting. So in advance, I want to apologize to Florida fans if you're listening, because this is not a takedown on Florida's defense, although we're going to talk about a whole bunch of mistakes on Florida's defense. And there are some very good Florida plays I did not include. So just, I want to put an asterisk out there before I share my screen that, please understand that we're not trying to brutalize your team. Okay. So if I do this correctly, so Coach, here we go. So we're going to start with just what we see, which is Obanor and Asmus just picking and popping in the front court right away. Just pick, pop for a shot. And they miss, but so they're going to do this 35 times a game, folks. Here, this time they pick pop and Florida rotates up a little bit too high. Now they're in rotation. Now with a mismatch, you've got Asmus, who's a strong right-hand driver. So everybody on that team's got to know he's driving right, and they miss it on the switch and give up an easy layup. Here you see what makes Asmus the leading scorer in the country. Watch him in transition. And Obanor just seals, and he drives the seal right there. Now he misses that right hand, right foot. But boy, I mean, he can get you in a hurry. So here we go, pick and pop again. This is with their 4-man. A little bit slow in rotation, even though I thought Florida did a good job trying to angle to stop the pass. They didn't stop the pass.
Popped in the passing lane, and they didn't. Exactly. Yeah.
But I will tell you this. Oral Roberts is going to shoot about 6 or 7 of these shots each game too, where you kind of go, what? And about one of them go in, but this is how you get spread out defensively, because I mean, they'll shoot a really bad shot and they'll do it over and over. I'm sorry, that's the next clip. That was Asmus again on the switch, driving his right hand.
You really got to take away his right.
Yeah,
You gotta
if he
clear the
gets to his
contested.
right, it's just death. Here you see they're kind of discombobulated again on the play. This time they backflow, block the shot. But again, it just looks like they're a little bit behind on Florida's a little bit behind on all these plays. There's the shot I was talking about earlier. Sorry, I was a couple clips off. They will just hoist it up there from wherever you go.
Mm-hmm. And that really spreads the defense out when you have a guy that can be a threat from that deep.
No doubt. No doubt. And here, look at Florida behind on a cut, gets cut, face cut on right there. And they're just a little behind on each play. Now, that doesn't look like such a big thing, but now you give up a moving counter, and O'Banner was in a position to even offensive rebound the little floater.
Yeah, I know we always talked about where you can't get beat on that first move, and he didn't, but the help didn't get into position, and it's the accumulation of being behind.
Yeah,
like
and there you see pick, pop, 45-degree cut. If he doesn't bobble it, it's a layup. But you can see how they've got Florida scrambling, and Florida's so behind defensively. Oral Roberts, nothing special defensively. Pac-Man, no big deal. Here we go now. Now we're in trouble. Here we go. Later in the game, down to the last 10, 12 minutes. Pick, pop. Here we go. Pick, rescreen, right-hand drive. You can't let him get to his right, even on the rescreen. We got to pick that up. One five, pick, pop, rescreen again. And now they're just kind of feeling it. Look at 4-point play there.
They're not even how they're guarding, how Florida guarded them is not consistent every single trip.
There's another right-hand drive. They block, but still you're letting him get to his right. If he knows he's going to get to his right all the time. Okay, now pay special attention. These two 1-3-1 clips. Now, no 1-3-1 is alike. Okay, folks. And this is kind of your John Beeline three to the ball. Maybe it's, I don't know if Kermit Davis played it this way too. But you kind of have 3 to the ball. So you have your center, who I always like between the ball and the basket. He's way up there at the top of the key. My guy would be down a little further. Their wing is way up, which means the low guy is a guard. He's going to be going to the corners, which I don't like to do. I like to stack my bigs. So, but at the same time, if you watch the Michigan transfer, Colin, he's got to stay between the ball and the basket. All right. So there he's between the ball and the basket. And there's 3 to the ball there, and we're ball to the basket. We're fine. And it's just a solid defensive effort, right? A contested outside shot, no real offensive rebounding presence. Now, Oral Roberts just going to rub the big guy a little bit, and enough that Asmus gets in the lane and fans it out for an easy 3. And it really didn't take much of an effort that way to get that done. That was Castleton. That's what I was thinking of. Now we're in transition, a little slow getting matched up, mismatch, not trying to solve the mismatch. And there we get an easy drive, confusion on the switch, easy shot. So again, I feel bad, but here's a scrum with the ball as the play continues. And Florida's just behind everything. They've got 4 guys in there, yet Oral Roberts comes up with the ball. And those are the plays we're talking about, Coach, on coming up with the ball. And that quickness to the ball, that mental acuity of getting there just a little quicker than the next guy. And Oral Roberts does that to you because, one, they shoot a lot of threes. They have a 1 and a 5 that can shoot threes, space you. Then those other guys are hustling and getting in there and going that whole play. And it's the way it goes. Here's another confusing play for Florida that shouldn't be that confusing. We call it get. Pass it, get it back. And now, just as they go, they're not matched up. And so they really don't go aggressively to the ball, give up a 3. And so all of those little actions that they do, pick, pop, rescreen, pop, get, here they run it right back at you. And they're going to just keep guys going. There they are behind a cut with number 14. And finally they get the post up on a tough post up, but the way it goes. So
but when you give them confidence, players go make plays.
Yes, and they are. And here, this is a solid 1-3-1. right there, Castleton has that handled with the penetration. The wing should check that down then and go to the corner and not give up that three. And so as we watch, Castleton's got that, but they forced the low man to try and go all the way to the corner, and it's just not there. And so, as you look at that and everything that goes with it, that was really a great job of just running 5-on-1, pick and roll, pick and pop, re-screen and pop, move the ball, added some get action in there where they pass it to somebody, get it back, but just a lot of pick and pop with 4 and 5. And you can see the struggle is when you start switching it, you think, okay, now they can't get it. Well, now if you don't know the scouting report, it doesn't matter if you get it or not. If you're not going to stop the right-hand drive on the right-hand driver, if you're not going to be quick to the ball and pursue the ball, you're in trouble. And I think that's what we saw is really a Florida defense that was on the defensive and an attacking offense for Oral Robert that was always – and now we get Oral and Arkansas, just like we'd hoped.
That'll be a good one. I think a lot of brackets had that one too.
So now you're going to show us from here. You're going to show us who's your second team again?
I'm going to pick Alabama here.
Alabama.
So, they are a interesting team where I would say they are not sexy by any means. That they don't do anything that just blows you away or anything like that. They are just very fundamental, and that's what we're going to talk about. And just, so many people. So many kids today don't focus on the fundamentals and how important they are. And that's where Nate Oates that's what he does. And that's why they have so much success. They've taken and made the most threes in the country.
Wow.
So, that they're working on that every day. They're working on some of the things that we're going to show you here in a second, every single day. And all these fundamentals create spacing on the floor. They help, they just help get ready. They're also 12th on Ken Palm for pace of play. So they push the ball. They're very up tempo. They're trying to get early transition, and they run a lot of middle ball screen where, there might be a guard where they do a DHO into like a middle handoff action, but they're really just trying to get downhill and play quick in secondary. So the first clip I have is just to kind of show everything that they do. So that's the initial action that they have. They don't force anything. Their guards are very patient. They're not going to take any bad shots. Drive baseline, drive baseline drift, drive it, shot fake, catch and go. And that's something that you work on every single day, the shot fake to a three-pointer. One dribble off. So these next couple clips, we're going to talk about how different moves that they work on. So playing slow to fast, controlled, finishing strong at the rim, going downhill. That's something that you work on every day, where you have a defender slap in right there. You're trying to get downhill. This is something you do every day with guards and big split. Right there, just rip driving right down, finishing strong off of 2 feet. Feet and a ball in the lane there.
I remember that play by Quinn early. It's what a great pivot. Watch him catch, get his balance. That pivot goes to the right, and then strong rip move right here. Look, waits on it, and then finishes inside over the shot blocker. That was a really good play. I remember seeing that at the time. Like, they work on normal stuff.
They just hone down on that. I just think about our talk with Dutch about just doing the basics, the ABCs of basketball. Right here, good move. They're spaced out so well. He has the ability to go behind the back right at the basket. We talk about, developing the bigs. This is the Olajuwon series right here. Catch the ball right at the elbow, just rip, finish right through.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
I missed this game.
Right here, slow to fast, finish through. Good take. Again, just that little hesitation right there. You just play slow to fast. Get the defender to stand up.
It's going to make Rick Pitino want to go back zone when he watches this.
I know. So we're going to go into some of their pivoting now, how disciplined they are. Jump stop off of 2 feet, get the defender up, counter move. Little jab right there.
I love that one.
I mean, it's not anything crazy or sexy. It's just very disciplined, playing within yourself and knowing how to execute.
Yeah, those are what I call perimeter to post moves. When you're on the perimeter, you end up jumping off 2 feet, trying to create an advantage with your pivot and ball fakes, and you can see how well they do it.
This one, yeah, they play off the 2 so well. This one's going to lead to the last selection of clips that we have. Their shot prep. So, I mean, as he's coming off on the top, I mean, he is just down, locked, and loaded, and it's just catch and shoot. You look all the way around, just 1-2 straight into it. There's no hesitation. They just know exactly what they're going to do. Their bodies are ready. They're squared up, 1-2.
Yep. I like that strong foundation, strong lower body.
So he misses here, but I mean, just right back. I mean, 5 hits the glass here. His body's facing the basket the whole time, and he's down in position.
So a bunch of confident shooters too. This is why I think this team is so dangerous. Fundamentally strong, playing. They love the rim, and they love the 3. I mean, but they shoot it so well, and they're so strong at the rim. It's not just quickness or just straight athleticism. They're making the right plays.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so strong. And how about this stat for you? I know you love the stats. They have 4 guys averaging double figures, and all 4 of them have positive assist to turnover ratios.
Wow. That is impressive.
So there's 1 guy that's only 3 above. Everybody else is more than double digits, more assists than turnovers. So, yeah, they're very fundamental. They do a great job. They play fast and love the rim, like the 3, and it makes it a lot easier to shoot the 3s.
That's good stuff. And that's really impressive. And for our final stuff, folks, we're going to show you the darling, Sister Jean's favorite team, the Fighting Porter Mosers and Cam Crutwigs. So as we go forward, one thing I'm going to show you is that there's some just basic stuff that happens with Loyola Chicago. One is Crutwig's going to get the ball in the middle of the floor, between the elbows, not out to the 3-point line always, but sometimes above the free throw line. And it's just their basic action. We're just going to call it basic. And this is where they run it strong side. So he can run it weak side or strong side. Strong side means there's going to be a guy cut over the top, and now they can do anything out of this. They can wrap one guy. The other guy can come off. They can use the double stagger. They can slip a guy. They can do a billion things on just reads. And you can see the way they read it right there. And, of course, they find Crutwig with the little lob because there's no help side there. Now, as you come down, we're going to see how smart Crutwig is. And Porter Moser told us on our podcast earlier that they run their offense through their center. So, Coach, we've had the world's best point guards. We've had the best point. Who's a great point forward in your book? Like, when I grew up, Paul Pressey, Marcus Johnson.
Oh, man.
Scott Pippen,
Yeah.
Those were all the point forwards that, you could kind of run your offense through a small forward. But we have had very few point centers, right? Where you run all of your offense through the guy. And this is what Porter does. And here's how smart he is. They down the ball screen, and Crutwig just stays right in the window, stays available. Doesn't get the call there, but really does a good job. And here's what I'm talking about, folks. This is Paul Pressey, right? Magic Johnson. I mean, who you want him to be? So here Crut's posting. Finally, he's going to go back home eventually and get to his spot where he flashes high. Come on, baby. Here it is. Hit him. Whoop. There it is. Little layup. Crutwig doing Crutwig things. And just so we don't think all hope is lost at Loyola, when Crutwig does decide to hang up his crown, Tate Hall is out here and he can still do damage to you. He's a young guy. He can find out, what's going on. Here he goes to work against Kofi Coburn, which is not easy. So I just want everybody to feel this. Watch this little action. It looks like America's play. It turns out to be this NBA kind of hammer play. So watch right Here comes the guard, like they can do several different things out of this, but you can, the old elevator play, you can slam that door shut. Well, that's really not the play. The play is, refuse the ball screen on the top part of the screen. Watch Krutwig, folks. Turn and hammer that guy. Well defended, but a slick little play for Illinois, for Loyola, Illinois. And of course, Krutwig uses a couple different pivots, gets the ball up in the rim, doesn't score that one. Here is a staple for Loyola Chicago. They go floppy, which means two bigs and two guards. Eventually, they're going to get the big naked, which means there's no corner person. They get a naked screen and roll. How about that pass back? Unbelievable play by Krutwig. Now we go basic again. And watch Krutwig use his body here with the pivot right there. That little inside pivot. And he doesn't panic. Just keeps waiting. And again, there he gets a hip screen. And he's able to score that or shoot that, and get it up there. But really crafty screening action the way it goes. Here's basic again coming down this next possession. And again, great confidence. And my point is, Loyola played really well late in the clock all day, late in the game clock, late in the shot clock. And that wears a team out if you can score or get great shots late in the clock. If you have to defend it. And here he is. He picks up the ball at a certain time. Good denials by Illinois, but he's patient till he gets that single side, and then they get the score.
They play within themselves so well. I mean, all these teams that have made it this far, all the Cinderella teams, they just don't do anything that they know they're not capable of doing.
No doubt. And so now this is a little Spain action. Looks like off a Shaker's look. So two big stacked like that is what I call shake. But there's a middle ball screen to a back screen. Puts a lot of pressure on you. Another
Belmont.
three-pointer. How about that one? Smiling all the way. Now here's basic, just to the strong side again. This time they mess with it a little bit. They get the throwback, throw it right inside to an easy post up. Excellent play.
He's just so deep. You're talking about earlier, the USC guys getting 2 feet in there. I mean, when you're posting inside the charge circle, it's game over.
Yeah. But I mean, running offense through Cameron Krutwig is the way to, literally great things are happening. Here they rub him, boom, back cut, another layup. The man delivers. Here's where they run a little blast action. Folks, watch this play. Watch Krutwig again on the roll. Great find. We call it a blast, where the guy gets like a single or a double. You dribble at him and then force that defense to have to, tag him with a bump or throw it back for an easy three. They don't tag. He gets the easy layup. You call it goaltending, of course. Now versus pressure. A lot of, Illinois really tried to light up pressure. And so there's really nobody to go to. Frazier's denying. They're fighting the screens. Nowhere to go, so he just goes solo, scores it on you. Here we got the offensive rebound. He's got the mismatch with Grandison on him. They just space. Nobody's getting in his way. They recognize the mismatch. He goes into his pivoting, and then he kind of shorthands the hook to get it out of the hand before Kofi could get there. What a great play that was. Now here we go, late clock. Look at them grinding. They're up 6. It's 13 minutes, but now they're going to just start running their stuff. And Krutwig's not in here, but they're able to, score again under 10 in the shot. Here they're going to run all their stuff. Cam's back in.
It's like playing a Princeton team, playing playing Wisconsin. They run their stuff over and over and over.
Yep. And they just have a lot of principles they kind of play out of. Some of it's directed, but here, draw a foul on a little, we talk about those strong fundamentals like Alabama. Great strong play there. And draw the foul on Dusumu with 1 on the shot clock. Watch this little play. They get this little Iverson cut coming up. Guy chases him, hit Krutwig, no help on the backside. Found the weak defender, guarding this. The weak defender is the guy guarding the screener there, folks. Here we go, late clock again. Here's that single side naked action. Michigan used to run action like that with John Beeline. Scored with just a few seconds on the shot clock.
And all these are under 12 seconds left in the shot clock, every single one of them.
Here they go, their basic stuff again, the strong action. Cut everybody over him. Eventually they'll get him in the post. Here's the shot clock, 9, 7. Score with 3 on the clock there. So now, here we've just showed you almost consecutive clips. We've skipped some clips, but you can see all the late clock action going Loyola's way, even if they miss a shot. But now that lead is not gone in. It's like a running game. This is that blast action again. And they shoot it with 4 on the shot clock. They missed it. Everybody's back, but that's a solid possession because even with 5 minutes left in the game, the clock is your friend that way. Krutwig coming up, relieving pressure, which we're going to see a lot more of later. Look at that hip screen again, using his butt. Look at this lob. Oh, so now you've given up all those late clock things, and then they hit you. But that one was even at 11, I think. Here comes.
That was what you were talking about. Beeline, that late, just waiting to the last minute to throw it up to the big and make a play. They did that with Jordan Morgan all the time.
Again, great patience, shows you a lot of things. Great poise, mental toughness out of this team. Here's Krutwig. Now we know something's good going to happen. Uses his hip, his pivots. Foul. 5 on the shot clock, 4 on the shot clock. So now using their center as pressure relief, even playing super small. Damon Williams is the 5-man there. Look how small they are. So now you're going to have a mismatch. You know that for sure. Somewhere, you get the ball to Krutwig down low. Either way, middle ball screen. Again, they just go your normal high-low, and somehow they got a charge out of that. Like, oh my gosh. Look at this. Hang on. Like, there's hardly any contact. They should have got a 3-pointer up in the corner with just a few. Look at this. I was charged. Oh my God.
I remember watching that live thinking, that's a no call. And even the commentator said that. They said,
Yeah, unbelievable. Here again, against pressure. Way they go. Krutwig takes the foul coming up. He's a pretty good foul shooter. Here they get, is this the clip? Yeah, the back tap. Oh boy, that's a killer. Late o'clock. That's a great hustle play. And again, you can kind of see that I think Illinois their players are stunned a little bit. They're on their heels because of all those late action plays. Everything that was there, that would have been a dagger right there, one shining moment. Right hand, right foot with 4 on the shot clock, but they didn't get it. And here we are late in the game, 8 points. You never know, but help is always near. Here come the traps. Here comes the quickness, and there's Cam delivering it right where it should be at the right time. Okay, a couple things defensively I want to talk about now late in the game. One thing I always like to do is I call the prevent defense. It was an extended 2-3 zone, 1-1, 1-1-3 kind of zone. There's some of the guys I know, the Motley Crew especially guys, some of the guys like to run the 1-3-1, the traditional 1-3-1 that either becomes man when the ball goes to the corner or 2-3 zone. And what you do is you at least get the big guys stacked up so they can't just run it right down your throat. So here's the free throw. You can run it made or missed. Williamson's at the foul line, and they're in their 1-3-1, or they're supposed to be. And they're able to stop, get the block out, get the defensive board, take the foul, go do it again. So here's a better shot of it. There's the 1-3-1. So you see a big wing. The big is between the ball and the basket. Guards out, block, piece of cake. There it is again. I don't think this is the same clip. No, it's not the same clip. Right there's a turnover. So just so you can't just run it down, there's always a crowd, but guys are fanning out toward the 3-point line. And then I thought, I think that's a great way to play end game defense. You got to have a plan for that. Penn State used to always go 2-2-1, and we had this staggered ball screen. We'd always run it, try and turn it back to the middle. And that was always good for us in terms of getting a look. Now, here's a really clever action, whether it happens organically or not. In the Syracuse game, first of all, not the best inbound against pressure that I've ever seen. Like, oh, man, holy cow. Just kind of throw it up there, and Buddy Boeheim goes to get it. But up 3, and they miss. And watch from out of your screen on my on the left, on my left, boom, pick up the outlet. That's what we call a jam on the outlet. So you just rush the outlet. So Buddy technically would have the guy taking the ball out. Then they got a wild card who's picking up first pass. And if essentially they trap the ball, that's a jam. And we get a travel out of West Virginia, out of Miles McBride. Really a clever action. I thought that was really good stuff. And a couple defensive things late in the game. And I don't know that the double was, but that jam was definitely Jim Boeheim's idea. You're going to jam that outlet that late in the clock. You don't want to foul, but you shouldn't have to worry about it. You should be able to get there and be able to pull that off. Good stuff.
Those are all really good things. To your point, I think a lot of coaches, you get to the end of practice and you don't really want to work on the end game stuff. And then you look back at when you're recapping the season and you're like, holy crap, we just had 10 games that were 1 or 2 possessions.
Some of the most memorable things. I remember Bill Self told me about the Big Ten that Jim Delaney said, all you need to do is practice like there's 4 minutes left in the game every time and the game's tied, because that's what it's going to be like. And that's the way every important game becomes, really, is, who's going to be better down in the end game than the next. So, Coach, before we close it up, good stuff. You did very well. I appreciate it. Who are your Final Four teams?
I think I said Loyola, Villanova, Gonzaga, and Bama.
Bama.
Who do you have?
So I've got Gonzaga, Bama, right? Then I've got who's in the other bracket? Baylor. And then that bottom bracket's not a 1 seed. Who's the 1 seed in the bottom bracket?
That was Illinois.
Who's the 2 seed?
Houston.
I got Houston. In fact, I think analytically they have the easiest path to the Final Four.
Yes, they do.
Now, in fact, they did after the first set of games. They had an easier path than Gonzaga after the first set of games.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw that on the internet, so it's got to be true.
You got to believe everything.
Yeah. Well, folks, thank you for joining us on Inside the Mind of Miles. Again, tough to podcast this, but hopefully you can watch it on video. We really appreciate you taking a look at what we think is really fun stuff. Can Oral Roberts win with 1 play? Yes. They've won 2 games in the NCAA with 1 play. They won the Summit League tournament with 1 play. And how they can get you behind. I really am excited about what's going on with this tournament. Should be a great weekend. Hope you catch us again sometime soon on Inside the Mind of Miles. Until next time, the greatest podcast in the history of mankind says, go March Madness.